Get your pen and paper, kids. Anus.
No. Not one of the Marx Brothers. They were my favorite.
Cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
All right. Anyway.
I'm too old to remember.
1,
2.
2.
Right.
Close enough. Hey, heroes. It's Doug and Emmet.
No comics for old men?
Filling in for Ken again. Ken is unfortunately...
living the life of Riley.
No, he's in the underworld right now. There's some remodeling needing to be done in hell.
This is true.
And he and the other members of Morpheus Descends have been down there wreaking havoc. So
yeah.
I'm here, and I read comics too, but I'm not an old man. I got grays, but I'm not an old man.
You're not old quite yet. You're staring it down.
Older than I've ever been, and now I'm even older. And
That's
now
right.
I'm even older. And now I'm even older.
That's a great
For you,
line.
They Might Be Giants fans.
Thanks.
So, some really great comics recently. Again, independence, because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
I read A Walk Through Hell, number 2. Number 1 was Out of This World. If you haven't read the series yet, jump on now, because it is insane.
Another Aftershock book.
Yeah, another Aftershock book. Garth Ennis wrote it, so of course it's good.
If you've read The Boys or Screaming Eagle and
There's a
303.
The artist is Goran Sudushka. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. There's the accent over the Z, so if I butchered it, I'm sorry. You're not
Aftershock
watching.
uses a lot of Eastern Bloc and South American artists who are actually pretty excellent. Like really great art.
Yeah.
They're just probably not that well known in America yet.
So Walk Through Hell is about these 2 detectives that are following up on a crazy call. 2 other people had already gone in and they had not come out. And nobody who's gone into this shipping container has come out. And so they go in. It's a warehouse. Sorry, it's a warehouse, not a shipping container.
Yeah.
So they go in, and I'm not going to spoil too much, but it's pretty brutal what they see on the inside.
It's mayhem.
It's...
What's a step above mayhem?
Carnage.
Carnage.
It's...
Not the figure in Marvel.
It's gory, it's gross, and I was getting shivers just reading the book, and I'm a pretty hard guy to spook, but it's a really great horror story. It's definitely a psychological thriller. It's definitely just a total mind bender. All around fantastic book. You need to read it.
Yep, Aftershock. You know how we love it. You should too. Grab a book and read it. Then we read Stellar.
Stellar's pretty great.
The art. I love the art.
The art is fantastic. I think Joseph Katinja.
I think that's the writer.
Was the writer, and the artist is Brett Blevins.
Yep, Brett Blevins, the artist.
Yep.
Very Mobius feel to it. That's why I like it.
It's very dreamy. It's a sci-fi hero thriller. She has powers. She was part of an elite team. She left, and she's trying to make up for the terrible things that she did. And now her team has come back for her, and they're like, "Hey, you got a job to do, and we're gonna remind you about that."
Yeah, I mean, did it blow you away? The art blew me away.
The art was dreamy. I wouldn't say blew me away. It's not very striking. It's this strange, comfortable calm. They use a lot of pastels, which has been pretty predominant in a lot of indie books recently. It gives it that dreamy feel. Like Prism Stalker uses a mixture of neons and pastels, and this uses mostly pastels and just dry fades. And
I'm in for number 2.
Yeah, no,
but it wasn't like, if I can't wait till number 2 comes out.
It wasn't a dead hand. It wasn't a dead hand.
Oh
my god.
Oh, by the way,
that's the benchmark.
I forgot to order issue number 2. Somehow I missed it on my order, and We got.
We've been waiting. We got issue number 3, and I refuse to read it until number 2 comes in. I can't read it out of sequence.
I'm a bad comic book shop owner.
So Gideon Falls is just.
We're skipping right over here.
We're gonna come back to this. Gideon Falls is just. Oh my god.
It's a scrambler. It's a mind scrambler. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I think you've talked about it in previous episodes. Yep. So you know that there's this guy who wears a mask all the time, and he's convinced that the Black Barn's a thing. And then other people are seeing the Black Barn or seeing consequences of the Black Barn, and
basically it's a conspiracy theorist.
It's a conspiracy theorist
who's
thing.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a secret society called the Plowmen that are dedicated to stopping whatever evil comes from the Black Barn.
Yeah. Mason.
Yeah, Plowman, Mason. Yeah, it's very, it's tongue in cheek, but especially because when it gets mentioned to the deputy, she's like, the Plowmen, they're an agricultural club, right. Like they're nothing serious, and the Freemasons were just a fraternity. Now they're all seeing it. But no, it's really wonderful. You now. In the beginning of the comic, you weren't sure if it was psychosis or if it was a real thing, if it was a,
Oh, you're really sure? 100% sure now?
No, I'm
still not 100% sure. It's a ride. It's a great...
It's a great ride.
Yeah, it's a great ride. There's a lot of stuff that keeps... You may have to pick number 1 back up and read it again.
Yeah, because you're looking. You want to look back because it's an indie book, so it doesn't do that thing where they have like a little text box at the bottom with an asterisk that says, "Oh,
see issue blah blah blah."
Remember in issue 2 when this happened? Pepperidge Farm remembers. So Gideon Falls is a killer series. Jeff Lemire's killing it as always. Keep reading it. We'll come back up to here real quick. Rick and Morty presents Krombopulous Michael.
I'm glad he said that. I could not say that. I hear it on the show.
I don't read most of the Rick and Morty comics because I don't feel like it's enough. Not enough, but I don't feel like it's up to par with the rest of
the show.
With the show, the show has its own. Everything about the show is very unique to it. So when you try to
can't do that rapid banter.
Right,
it's so much harder to.
It's half
so
what you
a lot
hear.
of the fun is
what you
the
hear.
Rick and Morty, like rapid fire banter back and forth.
Yeah, which is hilarious because it's the same guy who does both voices.
Yeah. But I mean, that's very difficult to do in comics. Right. But I think what they're trying to is a lot of the same situations. They're putting them in the same situations.
Right. So this comic is just about the guy from I think it was season 2, Krombopulous Michael, who loves killing. He's an assassin, and he's the guy who dropped down and goes, "Oh, here I go killing again," and he's just really good at killing everything. And so this is his origin story and his background, and shows him in the therapist's office. He's like, "Do I really love killing, or do I love the idea of killing?" Like they just keep equating it to other things, and he keeps reminding people. He's just like, "Hey, just so you know, I do love killing, and I do it for a living, and I love what I do for a living because I love killing, and I kill for a living, and I love killing." Like, oh, did I mention that I love killing? I'll kill anyone. Men, women, children, inanimate objects, people who were born, people who weren't born, just like... He left a note in Morty's room, and he's just like, just so you know, nobody watched you sleep. There was definitely not an assassin in this room with a gun pointed at your head for most of the night.
There's chuckles, especially when you go back and talk. Look, this is a great book for you and your friends to read and then come back and talk about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of inside jokes.
Yeah.
Just like people quote the show, this is definitely a quotable book. It was a lot of fun to read.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Betrothed?
I will talk about Betrothed. So this is the 4th book from my nephew, his cousin, Sean. Sean Lewis. It's getting pretty good reviews. The artist is Steve.
Steve Yu?
Yu, I guess it's
Yui?
U-Y. So he's done some X-Men and some of the other. He's a mainstream comic artist. It is on Aftershock. Not my favorite Aftershock book, even though it's family. This is more of a
they're coming together finally.
Yeah.
The Romeo and Juliet of the story. They're starting to
decide to fight together.
Right. And they're also starting to the romantic tension is starting to build. and it's, you know, becoming more apparent that they're definitely fated lovers. It's very teen romance, very teen heartthrob, and it's good at what genre it is. It's just not our flavor. Wow. All right. I see the caption come up at the same, just like a rainbow, just not our flavor. Make it happen, Captain.
That's right.
Ballad of Sang, dude. Oh
yeah,
my god.
You like this more than I do.
This book is kicking ass. It's got a very rough, punk rock, edgy style to the art, and I love that.
Almost Gorillaz, a little Gorillaz-esque.
Very Gorillaz-esque, but Gorillaz is, again, very punk rock.
Right. No,
you know, very
same
edgy,
flavor, absolutely.
You know.
Do you think they were going for that? They
100%.
Said, hey, let's kind of look like...
The whole thing is like an edgelord's dream.
Yeah.
It's from Oni Press. They put out a lot of...
That's Kevin Smith's imprint.
Yeah, he puts out a lot of really cool stuff. But Ballad of Sang is about a mute assassin. Well, a mute boy who's raised to be an assassin, and is an assassin, and is very good at being an assassin, until he pisses off the wrong mob boss, who basically sends all of his crews after him, and all because he has the guy's arm. Like, in an altercation with him, he cut his arm off, and has now been traveling with it everywhere he goes, and all the people that take care of him are holding onto the arm, and it's become a running gag.
Right.
He doesn't know how to read or write very well, so when he communicates through written, you know, messages, like letters are backwards, it's spelled very poorly. It's just a really great book. I think that it's definitely coming to a close. I think next issue, I think issue number 5 or number 6 are the last issues. I think what happened is it got shortened. You know, kind of like what happened with Saints. It got shortened, and so they pulled an extra issue back. But a whole lot of fun to read. It's got some laughs. If you're a fan of blood and gore, it's got it by the bucket.
Yeah.
Whole lot of it. I mean, like I told you, he cuts the dude's arm off. That's like the mildest that happens in the book. Really great. Read it.
Yes. Analog runaway hit.
Yes.
Yeah. Dugan. I mean, I think like this is almost like
it's too real.
A lock to be in
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. This
I think it's already been bought and in production. It started not in production yet, but in
pre-talk.
Yeah, pre-production.
So the book is really relatable because it's very possible.
Yeah.
It's set in the near
10 years
from now.
Yeah.
It's set in the very near future. Basically this guy and somebody else that he's a partner with, they doxed the world. They literally via the internet released everyone's personal information. Their social security numbers, their credit card numbers, their address and home address, their aliases, who they work with, who they're friends with, every single email that they've ever sent, every message that they've sent, every like self-destructing message like Snapchat, like think the iCloud leaks of the celebrities, but it wasn't their nudes. It was every look into their private life, and not just celebrities, regular people on the street.
Credit card numbers, absolutely everything.
Government officials, and so
driver's license, the whole nine.
Right. So the whole world, for the most part, has gone analog, which is why it's called analog. They're using paper copies of stuff again. You know, all the things that everybody complains about, like, oh, back in my day, we actually read the newspaper. We didn't just look at articles on our phones. People are actually doing that again. And so this guy sells analog secrets because that's the only way that you can keep things secret now, is buy paper copies or microfilm or things like that. So he is like Jason Statham in The Transporter, but with, government secrets or business secrets and stuff like that. And he gets paid an exorbitant amount of money to make sure it gets from point A to point B. He never looks in it. No one ever looks in it. And he gets contracted by the government to be like, hey, we want you to bring everything that you get asked to deliver to us so we can photocopy it, and then you can go to where you're going.
Business,
go about your business. And at first he says no, and then they say, okay, then we'll just, ruin your life and kill you. Because it's the government. And so there's the intrigue of how he's going to get one over on the government. Like, one of the things is like, oh, this one's microfilm. Looks like you can't photocopy that. Suck it. And he's like, and I'm going to Japan, so you have no jurisdiction. Suck it. And they're like, okay, just meet with a person in Japan before you drop off the thing. And he's like, it's It's a great book.
Yeah.
And it's really relatable. The main character is, one of those, like, hard-ass, tough-as-nail detective types, but he's not a detective. He's like Clive Owen in Shoot 'Em Up, or Josh Brolin in Gangster Squad. Yeah. Just like the grizzled old veteran. It's cool as hell.
Which I love those movies.
Yeah.
Oblivion song.
Kirkman's doing it, man.
Yeah. Listen, it was a hit before it came out. Like,
I really didn't want to be the fanboy, the bandwagon hopper, because I'm not a huge Walking Dead fan, because it feels like you're beating a dead horse and milking a dry cow all at the same time. And it's just, Oblivion song's so freaking good.
It doesn't matter what situation he puts it. It's his writing. It's about, like, the character, how his characters are built, the chemistry of his characters, that's what it's about. I mean, like, you want to, like, not like it because you don't want to be part of the...
You don't want to be a stan.
Mainstream. It's independent. You want it to be... Yeah, it's just...
It's really good. It's... Yeah. So, a world event called the Transference happens. Everybody gets zapped into this strange world and for a little while, and then the world separates again, and then this guy finds a way to transport himself and others back and forth between the dimensions, but he can't get the funding for the government to give him an actual project to work on it. But so he's been doing it himself with his own funding, with his own items, and he's been looking for survivors. He shoots them with like a tranq dart that zaps them back to the real world, and just he's been looking.
People have been there so long they don't.
Yeah, they don't know how to react when they come back. They have nightmares. It's very.
But they also don't know the person that's coming there because there's so much conflict. In that world that they're in.
That they become savages.
Right, and they don't know who these people... They don't know they're coming to be saved. They have no idea they're being saved.
They just get shot and then they disappear. That's all they know. And
so they're now... This guy is now an enemy.
Yeah.
Right? It's seen as an enemy.
Well, it seems like that's changed in this last issue because they catch him.
At the end? Yeah,
100%. They catch him and they're like... we've been looking for you. We're going to bring you to the boss. Because he's like, I need to talk to your boss. I'll clear all this up. And they're like, we're going to bring you to the boss anyway. And he's like, but he's my brother. And they're like, wait, are you Nathan? And the very last panel is like tears running down his face. It's very emotional. She's like, yes, I am. And, it was a nice ending because, like, now you feel like the arc is changing direction. Instead of them, they're going to pike him and spit roast him and eat him. They're going to bring him there. There's going to be a family reunion. But I bet you there's going to be a plot twist and his brother's going to beat him within an inch of his life.
Maybe, yeah.
Or break all of his shit.
Well, because now if his brother is the king, is the guy in charge.
Yeah, why does he want to leave?
Why do you want to leave?
Yeah,
why go be a slave in one world when you're king in another?
Yeah.
That's if he takes away brings back all of his people.
Yeah.
He won't have anybody.
They're going to be back in their cubicles doing 9 to 5 stuff. Yeah. No one wants that.
So you pronounce this, even though you didn't read it, you pronounce it way better than I did.
Konungar.
War of Crowns. Doug did not read this yet.
It's not yet.
It's not his flavor.
It's not my thing, man.
Right? Not so much not his thing that he didn't even read it. Like, he's read stuff that is not his thing, but this, but it's beautiful. This book is so beautiful.
It was too pretty.
It's Static Press, which is like a... Statics, yeah.
Off of Titan.
It's off of Titan Comics, which is a British book. You gotta look at this book. I mean, the writing, Runenberg wrote it. It's okay. I mean, it's a fantasy sword and not too much sorcery.
One of the things that bothers me about Titan Press's comics is this giant white gap.
But then this panel was off.
Yeah, exactly that. It's just
but the art is
it's
just
too pretty
so
for
good.
me. It's too pretty. It's too much like concept art for a video game. It's just
it really has that feel to it for sure. I agree with you that I don't like the paneling being all mishmash like that.
Yeah, paneling's super important in comics. I'm sure you know that if you're watching this, if you're reading comics, paneling can make or break a comic, honestly. It doesn't matter how good your art is or your story is. Like, for example, the art's beautiful and I'm sure the writing's fantastic, but the paneling's...
Well, I don't know about the writing being fantastic. In parts it's too wordy, in other parts there's not enough.
We'll see if they catch their flow. I might pick it up if I'm bored and there's nothing to do. I might pick it up and thumb through it, and then come for issue 2.
You get a lot of book for the money, right? It is a $5.99 book, but it is, I believe it's 40 some odd pages. Yeah. So
there's no advertisement breaks. So
no, and I mean it is. Yeah. It's thicker than regular books. I mean it's a real.
It's a maxi size comic.
Yeah. The art's done really, really, really well. They're trying.
That's all we can ask them to do.
Yeah, I mean, that cover. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So since you were talking about paneling, I would have to say number one paneler today, right now, Hayden Sherman.
Yeah. The guy, he can do no wrong. He's the golden boy right now.
Yeah,
honestly.
If you look at Cold War, I mean, forget the few. That was his first book. Move on from that.
The Few was really good, but it was his first book and he was that good, and we were like, okay, well maybe just that was beginner's luck.
Cold
War,
no,
just comes out the gate swinging.
Yeah. Paneling is so good. Cold War paneling is great. Wasted Space.
The paneling is beautiful. Yeah. The art isn't incredible. The story sucks, but everything else about it is really great.
Yeah.
I literally
He's getting a lot of work.
Yeah.
So.
When I read Wasted Space, I literally it's like I'm a child with a flip book. You're really pretty, but I don't know what you say. He's really good at what he does, and his deconstruction of everything we know about comic art. It's just. Yeah,
he's doing it different, innovating, getting better than anybody out there.
And it's still really good.
And it's still really good.
He took a risk, and he really just he takes risks, and that's really big because they all pay off.
Word is he's going to do some Punisher. He's got a Punisher book.
That would be amazing.
Some backstory.
How's he going to draw John Bernthal? Because that's been the thing, is that, I've noticed that Marvel's doing that.
Oh, he's absolutely Bernthal now.
Yeah. He looks exactly like Bernthal. If you've been reading the Punisher line, I know we don't really talk about, Marvel or DC much, but, if you haven't been reading the Punisher line, you need to go pick up the last, 12 issues.
Yeah.
He got the War Machine armor. What?
Yeah.
Two best things you could ever put together. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. And so, he just kicks ass in it. But anyway, so they draw him exactly like John Bernthal.
Product placement. Maybe we'll get a little money.
Yeah. You should bleep that out. Pay us $100 billion to unlock this name. So, he's been John Bernthal, and now with Star Wars, they're doing a Lando series. He looks just like Donald Glover, Childish Gambino.
Yeah. I think Marvel's been doing that a lot. I mean,
all of their MCU people.
The actual when they started writing the Ultimate Universe, they specifically wrote it as Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, they asked Samuel L. Jackson. They said, "Hey, can we use you as a likeness? We think that you would look good as Nick Fury." And he said yes, with the condition being, if they ever make a movie and Nick Fury is in it, he has to play him. And they said okay. So that's how that came to be. So that's why.
But it's.
And now in the regular universe, he's Nick Fury too.
Yeah.
He's the current Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a James Bond thing now. Now it's like a title instead of.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think that's more of a way they're going with it. So that, they can do that.
It might be an LMD. It is the LMDs? Oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh.
Oh, which we didn't get to see. Deadpool comic or Deadpool
the comic?
Oh, the comic.
Yeah.
See. Get your guys that work for you to start reading comics. I don't even have time to read all of them.
Yeah, dude, our weekly piles.
It's crazy. When Josh read way more than I do.
When Josh first started reading comics, both of our piles were about 5 to 7 books. I read 12 comics today, and I'm not even halfway through my pile. And Josh's pile has 2 more comics in it than mine does, because he reads 2 more titles a week than I do. So. We're doing a giveaway, since he wants to float it in the screen. It's here. There it is. It's the Wet on Wet. Deadpool is Bob Ross. So here's the deal.
We're looking to get people to watch our shows.
Yeah. This video needs to get 100 likes, 100 comments, and we need to hit 100 subscribers. And we're going to be posting this on our Facebook, so go check that out too. We're going to give away to one of the however many subscribers we have by the time we do the drawing. One of you. We'll give this to you for free and ship it to you if need be for free.
Unless you're local.
Unless you're local, then you can just come pick it up.
A little gas money, maybe I'll give you $1.97.
Gas is like $3 a gallon, son.
It's not a gallon to get here.
Depending on where you come from.
If they're driving,
people drive an hour to us.
This is true.
At least.
That's true. That's because we're cool.
Yeah, we're all right.
Really cool.
We're less funny in person. So yeah, just come by and pick up your Bob Ross Deadpool Wet on Wet.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah,
100 subscribers.
100 subscribers, 100 likes, 100 comments. Comment what your favorite episode is. Maybe it's the one with me in it. You know, you never know.
Disclaimer: if it takes us 3 or 4 years to get to that number, this will no longer be around. You'll get something of equal.
Equal value. Maybe a crisp high five.
But you could also just like share it to everyone you know, just so that you could be the one that wins it.
It's true. Be selfish.
Right.
Selfish with
Tell
your
them.
sharing.
Tell all your family members to, like, subscribe.
Or you'll cut them off.
That's it. No more talking to them. Yeah. You would like to win the
No more
Bob
dinners
Ross.
on a Sunday.
Right. Sunday dinner.
This is the best inside joke that we have. And it all came from a drunk Snapchat.
Yeah.
Just, like, comment what your favorite episode is, or what your favorite comic is, or where you would punch me, if you could punch me. Keep it friendly.
How epic my beard is, you can
oh my god.
Talk about that. Stay tuned. It's going to be the home of the gnome soon.
No, get out.
I'm going to get a big red peaked cap.
No.
I'm going to be the largest gnome in the world.
Yeah. I actually agree with that. What the
He's got to quack that. You've made work for him now. There was an S word earlier on, too. He's going to have to quack that.
There were some curse words.
There's some curse words.
Sometimes.
Although, kids can't read any of the things we... Not one of these books.
It's child friendly.
No. No.
No. Yeah, I was like, wait, maybe. No. What? They talk about having sex.
Yeah, there's a lot of sex involved.
Speaking of kids and saying inappropriate things, my daughter found out why people find the planet name Uranus funny. Because her mother had to explain it to her, because she and Jeremiah laughed when they said it, and she said, "Why is that funny?" So of course she had to answer. And then she said, "But you don't really say that word in public. It's just not something you say." To which my daughter responded, "Anus." Anus. Anus. Like 7-year-old.
So you should download, clip that, make it your ringer.
Anus. Get your pen and paper, kids. Anus.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Well, there's one less customer we have to worry about.
Oh, God. He looked like Colin Quinn.
Yeah, he looks a lot like
Colin. He looks
Quinn.
like a lot like Colin Quinn. Colin Quinn used to come to our comic shop until I said anus 6 times. Oh, that's one for the history books. How we lost Colin Quinn to anus. That's the ultimate clickbait. That's actually the title of this episode. How we lost Colin Quinn to anus. We're out. 3436 Front Street, Port Jervis, New York.
Read comics.
Read comics. Fight me. One of these days, someone's going to come in here and square up. It's going to be a beautiful day.
It will be a beautiful day.
You said in your video, fight me. I'm here to fight you. You watch my videos? I can't fight you, you beautiful human being.
Would you like my autograph?
Would you like my autograph?